Hello, good day. Welcome back to our zoonotic disease series. Yet again, I am by name Dr. Benita Amos Apuga. Today we'll be talking about brucellosis. So, brucellosis is an endemic zoonosis, mostly found in developing countries, Nigeria inclusive. It is one of the most important but yet neglected re-emerging zoonotic disease worldwide. It causes significant public health problems and also economic burdens because it's able to affect or infect livestock and cause serious economic crisis. The etiology of brucellosis is bacterial in origin. It's caused by a group of bacterial organisms belonging to the genus Brucella, and these organisms are actually able to penetrate through intact skin without abrasion or cut or anything, making it a very dicey situation when it comes to prevention. So there are relatively about 10 members of this genus, and 4 have been known to be very pathogenic when it comes to causing human brucellosis. Of these 4, Brucella milentensis, which is more like a sheep problem, is most pathogenic to humans, followed by Brucella suis, which is more of a pig problem. And then benign but most commonly encountered is Brucella abortus. This is more of a cattle problem. But the reason why it is more common, though if it might not be as pathogenic as the other 2 I mentioned, is because of the fact that most of these organisms are found within the genital tract of animals. And because of cattle and other large bovines, because of their size and reproductive practices like rectal palpation and stuff like that, you come in contact with them more than when you think about milentensis and suis, because of, I feel like, size, because you can't do rectal palpation in pigs and sheep, more of digital, which is rare even when they have reproductive problems. But with large animals like cattle, most times people go in through the rectum, and in order to maybe for ultrasound, to palpate the ovaries, a lot of reasons. And if you don't wear an obstetric gloves that covers the length of your hand high up, you'll be risking yourself to Brucella organisms. And as I said, they penetrate through intact skin. So Brucella abortus is actually more common, though less pathogenic than the previous 2 mentioned. So diagnosing or spotting a brucellosis case is usually a very dicey topic, to be honest, because this disease is usually asymptomatic. Like, there's no classical symptoms that will even impede the individual or animal. So most times they tend to appear normal. If you're lucky, you might notice an undulating febrile stage, which is rare or mostly goes transient and unnoticed. But when people start realizing that it might be a brucellosis case is when it comes to do with reproductive insufficiency. In animals, you experience continuous stillbirth, abortion, like there can be an abortion storm in your farm, infertility, they are not even cycling, the male's poor performance, there might be orchitis as inflammation of the scrotum. So those are this kind of thing. And then reduced milk yield, reducing drought power. So when you start seeing all this kind of stuff, you might start thinking brucellosis. But generally, the animal might even look normal, and then this disease will just keep going, and let's say the cause will be enhancing, and you won't know. It's still a similar thing in humans too. Somebody that has brucellosis will honestly look okay. When you start realizing that there's a problem is in women, and they can start aborting at 3rd trimester. You see a pregnant woman will be very fine, getting ready to give birth, she will just lose the pregnancy. For the males, maybe there will be orchitis, and maybe when they go to the hospital to probably take the man's semen to see, okay, what's the problem, you start seeing maybe low sperm count, or semen that have a lot of pathologies, no head, cytoplasmic droplets, more like a reproductive array. But the person will look fine, but reproductive wise, like, it's going to be that's why it's very dangerous, because you won't really feel like you're sick, and then it goes so far, you'll be okay, and enhances itself within the genital tract, and then start causing you a lot of problem. And the challenge is, if it's not spotted on time, it can actually cause like sterility. That's an infertility that cannot be reversed, and that person might be barren for life. So I feel like even in humans, a lot of the cases with reproduction that we battle might actually be brucellosis. That is why we are coming out to do this, because it's not a routine. A lot of even human health practitioners don't know about this. They don't know that this is a serious problem. It's more like a silent killer. So I just hope that this would prompt awareness and our instincts to start checking for this organism, because it can be a serious problem reproductive wise. So treatment. Prompt and adequate treatment of human brucellosis remains the most important strategy to managing human brucellosis, as the eradication of animal brucellosis is not close to being possible for a lot of reasons. I don't want to dive into that. So generally, people have, or research has said, a combination of doxycycline and rifampicin for 6 weeks is sufficient to clear out this bacterial organism in a situation where it is diagnosed early. If it becomes chronic and has caused irreversible damage, that's a different ballgame entirely. As I always like to say, every drug is a potential toxin or poison. It is those that converts remedy to converts the remedy from toxicity. So in this case, for doxycycline, it can actually cause severe gastrointestinal disturbances, and that is even from an actual experience. Me as a person cannot tolerate doxycycline. Like, it was a near-death experience I had with that particular drug, but I've seen a lot of people that can tolerate it. It's actually a very good antibiotics, but if you're not lucky, it might cause severe gastrointestinal complications. So I generally avoid doxy because of my own individuality. A lot of these things can be idiopathic. You might not explain, so always know what works for you and be safe. I think other toxicity associated with doxycycline is it's able to cause bone pathologies, also discoloration or deformation of teeth in children that are less than 8 years old, and also in neonates whose mothers received these drugs after the 4th month of their pregnancy. So it can actually cause this in them. And lastly, for rifampicin, it is able to induce toxic and hypersensitivity reactions that presents itself as immunoallergic thrombocytopenia, which is a combination of cytolysis and cholestasis. So this will be all for brucellosis today. It's not a very common disease, but it's a very serious disease, because I mean, anything that's able to impede reproduction this bad is a very serious thing for humans and also animals. And for animals, generally, when you see that this animal is not reproductively desirable anymore, you can easily call, especially for livestock, you can just decide to sell it off or call the animal and then that's it. But for humans, it's a serious thing. Like, this causes emotional, mental, psychological burden for a lot of people. Imagine you're married and you cannot give birth, especially for us that are Africans. We know how dicey such a situation can be. So it is a very serious issue, and I want to urge us all to take handling animal very carefully, because all this, every Brucella organism that is able to affect human is of animal origin. There's no Brucella organism that is, let's say, originated from humans. I called millentis. I said that you get it from sheep and then goats. Seriously, you're getting it from pigs. Aborts, you're getting from cattle. So they are first animal organisms, and then as a result of interaction with humans, they can now affect humans. So this is the reason why it is very important to learn about animals and how you can protect yourself and them. So thank you. See you on our next disease.